Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And in this edition of Where I Went Wrong, I'll be doing Where I Went Wrong, UFC 283, Teixeira versus Hill. So what I went 12-3, 12 wins, 3 losses. So yeah, not a whole lot went wrong there, but and I'm like what a week later after the fight happened, but hey, it's gonna be a week with no fight. So let me start this putting stuff out this. Really I should put no, regardless of no fights this week, or at least UFC fights this week, I should have had posted this like probably like an hour after the fights ended, regardless. But hey, it is what it is. It's getting posted. It's getting made, and I'm still going regardless. Take notes from this for that's gonna help me later on in the year, and probably help you guys as well that watch this and take notes from this and can gather something from it, if anything from it. But yeah, went 12-3, pretty solid card. So second fight of the year, second card of the year to have a solid out like that is good. And I think right now my percentages for through 2 cards like 73% or something. So that's real high. So and maintain that or try to push it up. But nonetheless, again, 12-3 for the card. Let's go with the first L of the night. We're just gonna focus on L's because this is where I went wrong, and not the 12 dubs, but the 3 L's. So I think first L was Warley Alves versus Nicholas Dalby, and with this one I put low confidence. So it ain't like, oh my gosh, I was so confident Warley Alves was gonna win. It was like close fight. I see people make some interesting claims to go Warley Alves. Let me see. Let me visualize it. Maybe you can go with that, but ultimately I really never leaning Nicholas Dalby. I got swayed by a little bit of, not even comments. I just feel like this on Twitter. I see a couple of different opinions. I'm like, maybe that could be the case. Maybe Dalby is this, but even looking at the records, Dalby's record as far as recently had been better than Warley Alves. Warley Alves was up, down, up, down, up, down. And not like he had this great performance. He did have that win over Morning Lazez and stuff. And yeah, I know even in the prediction I said Nicholas Dalby has all the tools to beat him. I just didn't think he would apply them to the extent to beat him. And he applied it pretty well, actually. So it was like a low confident pick. Definitely had no reason to be confident in Warley Alves. I was like, he possibly could win. He possibly could get him out, starch him in the first round. But it was like kind of, he gonna out starch him or just get slow drag to a decision or something, or just get outworked the decision. That's what happened. It was like kind of 2 outcomes. And it's not like Warley Alves had again. It's kind of like the only thing that had redeeming factor that Warley Alves had as far as recently was beating Morning Lazez, starching him in the first round, who's a solid striker who has shown durability, and for him to starch him in the first round, that was his only gleam of hope. That in the past, submitting Kobe Covington in the first round with guillotine. That was his 2 biggest claim to fame. And also doing well against wrestler, but Nicholas Dalby is not a wrestler. He's a well-rounded fighter, so wasn't the best pick. Low confidence for a reason. And should have stuck with my first initial instinct with that one, my first initial thing with that one, instead of just trying to, just throw a little mixed pick in there. I feel like I had some good feel for the picks for the most part, and that could have been like a good little one that where I'm not sure on it, but it's definitely possible that Warley Alves will go out there and starch him. It's definitely in the realm of possibility. And I think he was a dog at the time, so I was trying to get 2-3 dogs on the card. So sometimes I just throw in the pick in there because that's what helps me. As far as you don't try to go 8 dogs, 10 dogs. You try to get 2-3 good dogs or dogs that have a fighting chance. And other times you just like I said, if it might seem more dog, what I'm trying to say is just pick the card you want to pick it. Then once you're gonna be your finalized picks, if it's not at least 2-3 dogs, then maybe throw 1 in the mix. That's what it is. If it's the case you real good on it, feel confident in the picks, you can have 10 dogs. That's how you truly fully see the fight, 10 dogs. But if you truly see the fight 10 faves, and then you kind of get to the thing, you got 1 dog, you're maybe at least probably 2 more of these guys gonna fail. So which one's gonna fail? Which ones which are these other dogs gonna bite? Then in that case. But if it's the case you're fully confident in your picks and they do have to be half dogs or 60% dogs, yeah. But I feel the case where you kind of go your intuition and your research has led to a large majority of faves, just slip a couple of dogs in there that do have fighting chance. That's why my logic going with that. And yeah, but maybe also got to work in the other way. You got that many dogs, you got 6-7 dogs. Maybe nah, ain't all these dogs ain't biting. And maybe got to just reduce that to half dogs at max. But anyway, so again, that was the first L. Definitely very foreseeable. Just wanted dog Warley always had a fighting chance. So let me slip a dog in there. Then second L was Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira. And with this one, I was very confident in Greg Rodriguez to get it done. I thought he could match or surpass him in grappling, or he could match or surpass striking. But I guess the old tendency of his came back, like that defensive flaw to just kind of stay upright, stay in striking range with your head up on a swivel or up on a pole for it to be hit. And like Bruno Ferreira do a combination and went low, came up high, his head was still in the same place, and knocked him out in cold and hit him with the hammer. It was like he already out cold, just the extra little cherry on top. So this is a bad tendency came back to bite him. I don't know, I feel like in times like a couple of these other fights that he's been winning, he's improved that, but it's hard. Old habits come back to bite you bad. I feel the fight extended longer, and Greg Rodriguez fought more composed. It should have been his fight all night, but again, it's not like that wasn't in his history. Like to have, be susceptible to getting knocked out, and I knew he was susceptible to getting knocked out. But kind of just respecting the evolution, or that he has shown, more consistently in these fights, and also coming off fighting one of the better strikers in the weight class and beating him and holding his own on feet. But maybe it's also coming from the factor that he wasn't respecting of his opponent's striking, and he was like, I fought this other better striker, I fought this guy, like this guy just a scrawny, not scrawny, but this guy is a stocky, short grappler. He kind of maybe respecting the takedown coming from in that position. Like maybe he had him get backed up a little bit, so he was going to try to like switch, throw a punch, then level train to go for a takedown. So maybe he kind of leaned back a little bit, left his chin up. But nonetheless, it was just still that bad tendency of Greg Rodriguez. So this was like 2 weeks in a row. I said, whoa, 2 weeks, 2 weeks in a row that I have, had a high confident pick lose. So it's been like, well, I think I had like 3 low confidence and 1 high confidence lose last week. And I had 2 low confidence and 1 high confidence lose this week. That's an area where I got to improve on, is not having these high confidence lose, or not as much. I mean, 1 high confidence loss a week isn't so bad, but when you consider that a high confidence pick could easily be a parlay buster, or a pick that will be in a parlay, that's a bad thing to have. So you got to maybe some of these picks, I got to reevaluate them and say, that's not a high confidence pick. But yeah, that bad tendency came back, and I just got, I guess, to see if these fighters have a glaring opening that maybe an opponent can exploit, even if they're supposed to be lesser, supposed to be this, supposed to be that. Is there an area where that's exploitable, like where Robert gets his chin with Imavov, pacing, maybe cardio, and inexperience, like in that fight. So that was my last week high confidence fell, and this was last week high confidence fell. So something to look at. Then let's get to the final fight was Brandon Moreno versus Deiveson Figueiredo, or Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno, the 4th fight. And this is probably one of the worst things I probably did the worst I did, or one of the worst prediction success rate as far as a trilogy, quadrilogy rematches. I think the first fight was a draw. I picked Figueiredo going in there. Second fight, I picked Figueiredo when he got destroyed. Third fight, I picked Moreno, and Figueiredo won a close decision. Then this fight, I picked Figueiredo, and Figueiredo gets stopped again. Eye poke, orbital break, whatever the case may be. He lost, and he was losing the fight. So haven't done the best in that fight, and it was low confident for a reason. Like I think I put very, very little money on that fight, very little, like $10 or $5. So, and it wasn't a parlay. I ain't really putting that somewhere. So I wasn't confident in that pick at all, because I know how much it could shift. I had predicted that it'd be kind of similar to like at least the fights that had played out, where Moreno would be the one doing more volume, he'd be more active, not by a whole lot, and then probably like 10 strikes overall, 15 more strikes over the course of a fight, maybe 20 or something like that. As far as landing, he probably would throw 100 more, but he probably land 10 more, 15 more. Then Figueiredo will be the one landing the big shots that will shift the round that he needs to shift, or whatever, or at least probably out 3 of the rounds, or then maybe one round he'll outland him, but then other rounds it'll probably be a case of him probably landing a big shot or get a big combination or a big moment at some point in that round, maybe to cap the round off and shifting those rounds similar to he did in the last fight going to this one. So, but I guess where I went wrong with this one is that was a lot of time to be off. You are going in there with a guy who has matched you pretty well. Matter of fact, he destroyed you in one fight, and through the other fights he has matched you pretty well. And he's been active. It was only one fight. He's fresh off that fight, probably even though 6 months, and you haven't fought like a year or something. So he's younger than you probably by like 4 years. He's been active. You haven't been active. You're talking about going up in weight, and probably no, he made the weight pretty good, but he probably still a struggle. Probably have less than him. So it was like factors to be looked at, and I probably would have like said, close enough fight. Let's assume this fight is 50-50, and this guy hasn't fought in a year. This guy has fought. I guess your main factor is that you do have that power, and you are coming off the win. But you come off a win that probably should have been like a split decision victory for you. But I think like unanimous decision. But this guy's been active. He's been hungry, and I think those are the big deciding factors that allowed him to win the trilogy. That he was active, and that he did, have a feel for him, and was able to get off several combinations that he knew he could get off of him time and time again. And he's been active again. Figueredo had not. That activity should have been the deciding factor. Activity in youth, and the ability, I guess, also that he will be the one that, time and time again will be able to outwork him. And Figueredo's coming off a layoff and relying on big moments. So that should have been maybe the deciding factor. Maybe could have been an average confidence Brandon Moreno instead of low confidence Figueredo. But I don't think it'll ever be high or locked for either of those guys. Even, matter of fact, if they do match again, I would say Moreno with high confidence. But they ain't gonna match up again. But yeah, that's where I went wrong with that one. Three L's, 12 wins, 12-3. And let's just try to keep this momentum and let's just go better. And also, coming very soon, about to start dropping some big bets. I don't know if it's gonna be this week, but I'm definitely saying by March I want to be start dropping some big bets and going for the goal and running those zeros up. Like I want to go for grands, mills, but very soon. And that's a little note for you guys. But yeah, went 12-3 again. I'll say that, and again, got big dreams and things I'm working on very, very soon for the future in the present. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.